that.
Why did the Eagles have to lose in Seattle this week? I mean, I wanted them to win the Super Bowl so bad. And the Sixers, they lost to the Suns. I mean, the Suns are just so bad. They're terrible. How did they lose to the Suns of all teams? And the only consistent team this week in Philadelphia is the Flyers. I mean, how is that even possible? Can't you work your magic, Santa?
Oh. Well, I already used my magic on the Flyers. Well, the Eagles, they played in Seattle. That doesn't really count even as a loss. And the Sixers, well, the only thing I can say about the Sixers is trust the process.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
I thought I was getting a Christmas present, and instead I got that. So, welcome to Sports Talk Philadelphia. We're just going to get right into it. On desk this week, I have Josh Abrams, Dave Roberts, and Sam Brown, with Kevin Cook coming on later talking the Sixers. So yeah, let's just go right into it. We all, our birds finally got knocked off their perch by a slightly worse bird. The eagle will always fly higher than the Seahawks at the end. But yeah, it was unfortunate. We did lose to the Seahawks. It was more of us losing the game than the Seahawks beating us. So yeah, let's just get right into it. What are some of the takeaways that you guys have?
Well, you had to figure that this team would come back down to earth eventually. They weren't going to win out the season without going through some kinks. And if there was any game to lose this week, it kind of had to be this one, considering that no matter how good or bad the Seattle Seahawks team is, playing at CenturyLink Stadium is a very, very tough thing to do, and to come out with a win against that team is very hard. And then we also discovered that Russell Wilson is almost just as much of an MVP candidate as Carson Wentz, and I give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, to go off to actually have this loss, I mean, I'm kind of happy that we actually lost because, I mean, think about it. It was all good just a week ago. We were doing the electric slide on the field. We were out there taking pictures with all this hype that we had, and then we go in there and we lose, and now we're like, all right, we're not as good as we thought we were. There's still some things we have to work on. So I mean, this loss is actually, you could take away a lot from this loss. You can look at the bad, or you could just take away the good and just say, hey, like, we got stuff to do.
And like I said in some other cases, reality was eventually going to set itself in, and it did in this game, and it just happened to be against a team with a quarterback that has accounted for 85% of the team's offense. So my confidence in the Eagles to win this week in LA is not shot, and my confidence for them going forward is not shot, but to win this week in LA after losing to Seattle is something they need to do in order to keep their confidence that they've had.
Yeah, I know it was either Chris Collinsworth or Al Michael said it themselves at the end of the game. It's unfortunate that, of course, that they lost, but it is one of those kind of stepping stones that you really have to play a team like the Seahawks to kind of tell what the playoffs are going to be, to see if you can get a chance. Because if they just went through the regular season and didn't really have any competition, it's going to suck playing in those playoff games against teams that are used to the process. Because I mean, we think about, like, the Seahawks already won a Super Bowl, Saints won a Super Bowl, and they're sitting near the top of the NFC. The Vikings are looking really good. And so, yeah, it had to have happened. It just sucks that it happened the way it did. But just going in and breaking down some of the stats, Carson Wentz, of course, he threw some turnovers. That one interception of Byron Maxwell kind of then it was
a little bit
so unnecessary. But like, he took the shot, but don't take that shot. I mean, come on, and our defense didn't really do it. But yeah, so like, what do you guys think were some of the ways that the Eagles might have been able to come back? I mean, we saw the crucial fumble, the penalties, the challenge that wasn't called. What do you think was the worst thing that took us out of the game?
I personally think the worst thing that took us out of this game was the fumble at the goal line, because as a result of that, the Seahawks were able to get the ball back and score, And if we score on that play, it's a much closer game than 24-10. You know, when you're put in a tough environment like in Seattle, you have to take advantage of every opportunity. And you know, this game could have been a close game where we just missed a few hits here and there, and we could have come out on top. But we kind of put ourselves in a bigger hole the more we turn the ball over.
Yeah, I have to agree with Josh with the fact that that fumble really did. That was a game-changing type of play, and also the fact that the defense didn't really step up to where everyone thought they should have against that type of quarterback and knowing what he can do. And I think one of the really big things was the penalties. Like, knowing that you're one of the top teams in the NFL and then going into Seattle, you should know that, you know, you're not going to get the calls you want to get. There's going to be some calls, that little cheap calls that you know you're going to get because you're in a place where, like, everything's against you. So, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest takeaways you can take from that.
And, you know, on top of the fumble and the way the defense played, I think it was just some of the decision-making in general that really contributed to the way the score was. I mean, Russell Wilson, very clearly, that lateral, that was a forward pass, and it's kind of a shame that Doug Peterson didn't challenge that, because that could have changed the tempo of the game and, you know, have fired up the Eagles a little more.
Yeah, wait, going off that, I think, like, this is a good experience for Doug Peterson, too, because we talked about how this is a type of, like, a playoff team. This is kind of like a playoff game. So I feel like Doug Peterson being in those situations where, like, playoff situations, he actually knows what to do now.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like this wasn't the game to, like, go conservative, because the Seahawks, I mean, we all know how aggressive they can be on defense. And if you're going to play conservative against an already aggressive team, you're just asking them to, like, chase you the entire time. And then you're going to get tired of running. And, I mean, we could talk about, like, so let's talk about that. Getting tired of running. They actually didn't really get that tired of running, because we didn't run the football as much as we should have against that defense. So, I mean, the takeaway from that is, like, you know, run the football more. 26 carries versus Seattle, that average 31 carries per game, includes one carries. But, I mean, Russell Wilson does get a lot of rushing offense for them. But we have so many great backs, and we didn't really include him in. Like, we could have got Clement in there, you know, really get some touchdowns. What do you guys feel like, or how much do you guys feel like we should have ran the ball?
Well, I mean, I feel like we ran the ball 26 times. I think about 7 or 8 of them were from Carson Wentz. But it's really the efficiency that was the problem, not necessarily the fact that we weren't running the ball as much. I don't think a single player on our team had more than 4 or 5 yards per rush. Overall, they finished, get that out of here, 26 carries for 98 yards, less than 4 yards a carry. You can't do that against the Seattle defense.
No, I mean, obviously we know that the Seattle defense is, like, you gotta be ready to play when you go against them. So I feel like we should have probably ran the ball more, but I feel like Doug Peterson wasn't really trying to show our strength in the running game. I think he's trying to show off our passing game a little bit. I think that's where we kind of slipped up.
So, are you on to say something?
No, you go ahead.
So yeah, just I definitely agree with you guys there. I mean, we got so many backs. Let's run five plays every drive. 5 running plays at least. If you go 3 and out, well, you better squeeze in 2 more run plays.
I feel like Jay Dodge should at least get 1 touch every time that they run the ball, because you know,
it's all about variety. It's all about variety in this situation. You have so much talent in the backfield. Why not throw Clement in there when they're not expecting it? He could break off a run.
Yeah, it's like, why be conservative and predictable at the same time? It's like a double whammy.
It's a great time to experiment, and I think they really missed an opportunity in this past game to have done that.
And talking about missed opportunities, let's talk about Nelson Aguilar, because that's kind of mean. What am I saying? He had a good game, but you know, he needed to have a better game. He could have been our Julio Jones this week. We would have had a better chance. But yeah, I mean, 7 catches, 141 yards, and 1 touchdown. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, of course. I mean, with him, it's still about, like, growth for me each week. I mean, that's just what you want to see, because he keeps improving. And it's kind of, as a fan and as just, you know, a fan of the league in general, it's really good to see players, like, just improve each time.
Yeah, and I think what I think happened was, I think the cornerbacks of Seattle really keyed in on Alshon, and were trying to limit him because they know he's our big 6'4" deep threat receiver. But you got to remember that Aguilar's now a deep threat with his speed, And surely 20 yards a catch against one of the best defenses in the league is very promising. And another touchdown. He's really solidifying his case as maybe comeback player of the year.
It is really nice to see that one player showed any sign of life in this game, and it just happened to be, the best breakout receiver that had a very down year last year. So, for him to get his confidence back and to help this team going forward, it'll be a great thing for him and for the team.
That definitely sounds good to me. And so, yeah, I want to start talking about the team that we're going up against, the Los Angeles Rams. I almost said St. Louis. I'm glad I didn't. But, so, yeah, first up, we got to worry about their monster of a D lineman, Aaron Donald. And so, yeah, it's going to be a fun game if our line is not up to snuff. If they do stop him, if we do lose, hopefully we can continue, 0 sacks in all the games they lost. But I mean, look at those numbers. I mean, he was able to get sacks in every game that they won, so you could clearly see that he's a crucial D lineman. What do you guys think who should be the one to stop him on our line?
Well, it really should be whoever's outside on the tackles, because he's a D tackle.
Defensive tackle.
They could put him anywhere on that D line, and that's why he's dangerous.
Oh, yeah, right. So, I mean, we're really going to have to key in on him, because in order to have a successful passing game, you have to have a successful running game. We're not like the Detroit Lions where we're one-dimensional. We do have our star quarterback, but we also have a much more developed running game now. And in order to get that going, we're going to need to make sure Donald stays away and doesn't get any tackles on us, because he can literally change a game-winning drive for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, he's really the guy to key in on, mainly because, I mean, he's just an animal. And I feel like if we key on him too much, it's going to open up for the rest of the D-line to do something crazy too. So, I mean, it's really, I feel like we should have to be balanced when we play, but we should be okay.
And so, yeah, the next player we got to watch out for, of course, is the man himself, Todd Gurley Jr. We clarified this, Todd Gurley Jr. But, yeah, just an impressive running back. He's one of my favorite players who aren't on the Rams. So, Sam, really quickly, what do you feel is going to be the key to stopping him?
Stopping him is just tightening up defensively and having the cornerbacks step in when necessary and stopping him on his runs. He is an exponentially better running back than what the Eagles currently have. So in the competition in running game between the two teams, I think that it'll be much more important to stop him on the defense than it will be for the Eagles running game for them to be stopped.
All right, so yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. So before we cut to break, I want to talk about the picks that we have. And surprisingly enough, even after a hard loss, we all have the Eagles going up, getting that W. Really quickly, I have the most conservative score this week because that game really calmed me down a little bit. But yeah, 23-20 with an MVP of Nigel Bradham. Josh has the Eagles 35-31 with Brandon Graham. Dave 31-24, Go Birds with Corey Clement. And then Sam has 27-21 with Carson Wentz. We don't really have the time to talk about the picks, but so it's my fault. But yeah, so we're going to cut to a break. Sam Brown is going to run off to help Santa deliver some presents, so you won't see him for the rest of the year. So say goodbye, Sam.
Bye,
and
Sam.
yeah, so watch these commercials and come on back. We're going to be talking Sixers.
Hi, this is Eddie Dunn, host of LaSalle's favorite TV game show, Q&A. I'm here today to tell you to watch LaSalle TV. Though if you're seeing this commercial, that means you're already watching LaSalle TV. So I guess keep it up. You're doing an awesome job. I hope you like what you're seeing.
Hello, welcome back from the commercial break. So yeah, we're talking Sixers, and we are joined by, I think his name is Kevin Cook. I don't know. He's like an elf or something this week. It's kind of weird. So yeah, we're going to the Sixers. They, out of the past 3 games, they won 2, lost 1. Or was it, they lost 2, won 1?
Yeah, they lost to
Lost-
Boston
yeah,
and Phoenix.
Yeah, we lost to the Suns
Phoenix.
yesterday. At least we played tonight. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. Do you guys think we're going to go away with a victory in this game? What do you think the keys are going to be to that?
I definitely think that they're going to end up pulling away with this one as well. I mean, same thing that happened out in LA is probably going to repeat itself tonight. I think that Ben Simmons is going to shut down Lonzo Ball just like we saw out in LA a couple weeks ago, and they don't really have a defensive stop for Joel Embiid, so I think that he's going to go off again.
Yeah, I feel like Ben Simmons is just going to eat Lonzo Ball alive again. I feel like I said before, I kind of want this rivalry to last, and I hope Lonzo Ball steps up a little bit just to have some fun, a little competition. But I mean, Ben Simmons is probably going to take him to the rim every time.
And one of the things that is interesting to see was Lonzo Ball got benched in the last game for the Lakers. It'll be interesting to see if they go back to him and if they're going to try to keep with him.
Yeah, either way, this is going to be a very exciting game. Dave, as you keep on referring to, I'm really hoping for another Philadelphia-Los Angeles rivalry where we maybe meet each other in the finals from time to time in the future years. But that might be a little bit too ambitious right now. But this is the game for us to continue to take off and to climb the ladder higher and gain more respect in the league.
You know, that definitely sounds pretty good to me. But one thing I don't really hear about, of course, this isn't a Philadelphia team, but nobody ever talks about my man Kyle Kuzma that much. It's always Lonzo Ball this, Lonzo Ball that. What about the Kuzma, man? Do you guys think he's a threat to us, or is it just Ball you guys are worried about?
I'm not worried about Ball at all. Kyle Kuzma is definitely the rookie on that team to watch out for. And you could see it just in the game that we played them a couple weeks back. I mean, he almost dunked on Embiid. The kid, he can jump out of the building. He's got a decent shot. He does everything pretty much well. And he's definitely a threat offensively right now to any team. With that being said, though, I'm not worried about him against this team at all. It's almost like the Michael Carter-Williams on the Sixers team back in, 2011, 2012. Somebody had to do it for them. And I think that might be what he is to them right now. I don't think that he's going to develop to be a star player in the league no matter what. And I mean, time's going to tell whether or not that'll be the case. But they really don't have any scoring threat.
Yeah, you're right about not hearing enough about Kyle Kuzma. I mean, you can thank LeVar Ball and LiAngelo Ball and all the balls that have really made the news headlines. But Kuzma is a very underrated player, and I think he could definitely be a key part of this Lakers' future. But the Sixers should have too much firepower on offense, even without Fultz and the uncertainty of Embiid and Simmons. Maybe Embiid more than Simmons. But this is a game where we should handle them easily. And we're in LA tonight, or
no? It's going to be here. But like Josh was saying, I mean, we should handle them easily. However, with that being said, we should have done the same thing to Phoenix, and we didn't take care of business. And you heard Embiid address that. They handled them too lightly. And for a team that was used to being taken lightly and was getting their wins that way, just probably even last year as well, to have that quick of a turnaround, it's a little bit discouraging, I want to say. But at the same time, we all know that there's a lot of hype surrounding this team, and there's gonna be games like that. I don't think that'll happen tonight because of the Ball rivalry and the Laker rivalry that takes place with Embiid and with Simmons and with Philadelphia. But with that being said, that is now an issue for us going forward.
Yeah. So. Sitting right now in the Sixers record, they're what, like 15-10? They're ranked 5th in the NBA.
I think they're 13-10.
13-10. 13-10. Yeah. So yeah, but do you see themselves? Like I said, they're number 5. I know that for sure. But do you see with like the issues that are being revealed? Do you see them sliding anymore? Do you think they're going to be able to climb up?
So I mean, for right now, they're going to stay right where they are. Right where they are right now for a while, I think. Some of the teams that are below them, though, are going to jump them. Some of them are just a little bit better. I'm blanking on who is ahead of us right now, but I know the Wizards, Toronto, the Celtics, and the Cavs are definitely better teams than us, period. They're a little bit more experienced, and I think that they're going to end up at the end of the year having a better record than the Sixers. And then there's a couple fringe teams like Milwaukee, and I'm blanking on some of the other ones, but the Heat are playing decent basketball right now. I don't think that they're better than us, but they might be a little bit more experienced than us, and that could play a role in it down the line.
Yeah, I feel like we're we're consistent right now. We're playing like a 500 team, and that's what I kind of like, because we're for the past 2 years, past 3 years, we were so used to losing and not even going over 500. So I mean, it sounds like a low ball on the team, but as being 500 right now is actually somewhat nice, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, you got to be happy with where we're at right now, record-wise, and you could say developmentally we're starting to get better as well. I would like to see the team fully healthy before I really make a prediction on where we're going to end up at the end of the season. There's always question marks down the road, but you gotta embrace what you have going on right now, and it's very promising to watch this team no matter what. So I'm very happy with where we're at right now.
And one of the things I wanted to get back to is Dave was saying that we probably are about a 500 team right now, and that's going forward probably what we're going to be for the rest of the season. With that being said, though, that's good enough to get in the East. It's good enough to get into the playoffs. Probably you're looking at 7, 6 seed. Which is kind of where I thought that this team would be all along from the beginning of the season. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I couldn't be too hopeful. I was really hoping for the AC, but I mean, actually seeing Ben Simmons play and actually seeing Joel Embiid play with each other, I'm starting to get more confident in the fact that we will probably be a 6 or 7 seed. And I mean, just competing in general is just going to be fun to watch, including just being in the playoffs.
All right, so yeah. Some of the Sixers specifically, some of their performance, we can talk about some of these guys for days. We got just so many, I guess, like you're saying, like Josh was saying, players that are getting better as the season goes on. I mean, it's nice to watch Embiid and Ben Simmons play together. I know not past couple of games, but when we talked about it earlier this year, when they don't play together, or when we don't have Embiid, the Sixers won't be playing as well. But so yeah, it's just 23 or so games into the season. Are there any Sixers that you're pleasantly surprised by, or are you pleased, or you want to see more out of? Who are some of your highs and lows for the Sixers roster?
For me, I would actually say I'm very surprised by the way JJ Redick has played this year, simply because when he was in LA, he was more of a pick and pop, coming off the screen kind of guy, catch and shoot. But we're putting the ball in his hands a lot more, especially when we don't have Embiid and/or Simmons on the court, and he is producing very well. He's still got the shot. They say great shooters never lose their touch, and I believe that's the case for JJ Redick.
I also agree with that, but I really have to go out to the man, Jahlil Okafor. I mean, why is he still in the team? Free Big Ja. Why is he still in the team? Just get this man playing somewhere else. I mean, he can play the game, and I feel like he could actually help out another team. But he's just stuck in the city of Philadelphia right now. And I feel, as a person, I feel really bad for him. But for as a Sixers fan, just get him out of here. I'm sick of it.
I definitely like both. I agree with both of them. But the guy who I praise all the time is T.J. McConnell, now 3J McConnell, because he's shooting above 50 from 3. The guy, he's consistent, and that's what he needed to do to keep himself in this league. We know that he's a scrappy defender, and he's great with the ball in his hands on the offensive side. He's one of the tops in assists in the league, and that's with splitting time as a point guard. It's pretty amazing what he's doing when he is in there. And same thing with Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons, I believe, is 3rd or 4th, and T.J. McConnell's maybe right around early teens. So it's pretty impressive what the two of them are doing with the ball in their hands. But for him to develop the jump shot, which was not really there in his rookie and sophomore season, and now it is, it's a good sign. And I think that means that he's going to keep himself in the league for a number of years to come.
All right, so yeah, looking forward just a little bit, we have, we play I can't believe I forgot that quickly, the Lakers tonight.
Right.
And there's, just some of the other games we got to worry about. We got playing the Cavs again, which is
always a tough task.
Always a fun game.
Yeah, and all those games are on the road there, so it's definitely gonna be rough to go into all those places with the Cavaliers, obviously LeBron, and they're extremely hot right now. I think they're 9 or 10 in a row. The Pelicans with Boogie Cousins, Anthony Davis, and Drew Holiday too. So they're another team that isn't easy to go into their house and beat. And then who's the last team there?
Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves, yeah. and they. I mean, they're pretty good now too. So It's going to be a tough road trip.
I agree with you there, and unfortunately for the show, 76ers Talk is now over, but we get to talk about Fast Five, so I get to grill you guys with some questions. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and I'll go to you, Kevin. Who should the Sixers be worried about the most this season?
As far as
Just for, like, just going forward, like,
So-
who's their biggest competitor? Like, somebody you just think they can't beat. That's not the Celtics, because that's easy cop-out answer.
So, in-house, worried about injuries and just developing as a team. As far as out-house, you want to beat any team that you should be beating. So it's not they're not going to win a championship this year, and they're probably not going to make a deep playoff run. But with that being said, you want to make sure that you're beating the teams that you're supposed to beat. So any opponent that on paper we should be beating, we need to win that game.
It's not the answer I was looking for, Kevin. Okay, that's fine. All right, well, Josh, I'm going to come to you with an Eagles question. This season where we're going on, I want you to name 3 Eagles you think deserve Pro Bowl bids.
Well, first and foremost, Carson Wentz. I think Fletcher Cox deserves another Pro Bowl bid. And then my third person, I mean, it's hard to choose just 3, but I'll go with Lane Johnson just because of the effect he makes in every game.
Well, good. Dave, another Eagles question for you. Do you think the Eagles can still clinch home field advantage?
Yeah, of course. I feel like we can just, honestly, that one loss, I feel like just changed our whole mindset and we can just win out at this point. I don't want to put any pressure on them, like knock on wood, but I feel like that's in the bag for us.
All right, Kevin, really quick for you. The Flyers have won 2 in a row. Are they officially on fire?
Compared to what they were, yeah. And they got a tough stretch coming up here. As you can see, they're 7 next 10 are above 500. But if they can keep this streak going and maintain about a 500 record through that, then I think that they'd be good.
All right, and Josh, last question's coming to you. What kind of acquisitions do the Phillies make in the winter meetings?
I think they're going to have to really discuss the pitching staff is the big one for me.
All right, well, sounds good. Pitching staff, let's pick them up. But yeah, this has been a great year for Sports Talk Philadelphia, for the entire crew, myself, Kevin, Tyler, Josh, Dave, Sam, just so many people came on, Alec, Trevor, just so many people. I want to thank all of you guys. Have a Merry Christmas. Make sure you follow us on social media. That wonderful video earlier, follow us on Sports Talk LTV. Watch our picks, watch the games, and just have a fantastic new year. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, enjoy your family, just like we enjoy the family here at Sports Talk Philadelphia. See you soon.